The camera slowly pans across the dimly lit 1412 wrestling arena, capturing the gritty, almost otherworldly atmosphere. The walls are lined with thousands of VHS tapes, stacked haphazardly, creating a nostalgic yet eerie backdrop. Purple slime oozes from various crevices, dripping onto the ring apron and pooling around the edges of the ring, adding to the dark, grungy vibe. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation as the lights suddenly dim further, casting the arena in a moody, shadowy glow. Suddenly, the upbeat, unmistakable opening notes of Paula Abdul's Straight Up blast through the speakers. A spotlight snaps onto the stage as Paula Abdul herself, dressed in a sleek, glittering outfit, emerges from behind the curtain. The crowd erupts into cheers, their excitement palpable as Paula takes center stage, her microphone in hand. She begins to perform, her powerful voice echoing through the arena, setting a high-energy tone for the night. Paula's performance is electrifying. As she dances and sings, the stage lights flash in sync with the beat, illuminating the sea of VHS tapes and the shimmering purple slime. Her choreography is tight, with sharp movements and intricate steps, capturing the audience's attention as she commands the stage. The performance is a perfect blend of nostalgia and modern flair, mirroring the unique atmosphere of the 1412 wrestling arena. As Paula hits the final note of her performance, the pyrotechnics explode around the stage, sending showers of sparks cascading down. The crowd roars with approval, clapping and cheering as Paula takes a bow. She waves to the fans, flashing a bright smile before making her way off the stage, the energy in the arena now at an all-time high. With the crowd still buzzing from the performance, the commentary team takes their positions at ringside. Mr. Feeney, looking sharp as ever in a tailored suit, adjusts his microphone as he begins to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1412 Wrestling. What a way to start the night with that incredible performance from Paula Abdul. But that's just the beginning. We have an absolutely stacked card tonight. Jim Ross, his iconic cowboy hat firmly in place, chimes in with his signature enthusiasm. That's right, Mr. Feeney. Tonight's lineup is off the charts. We've got a Bar Room Brawl at Cheers between Norm Peterson and Rito Revolto. This is going to be one for the ages, folks. Elvira, the Mistress of the Dark, adds her own touch of mystery to the proceedings. And let's not forget about the match that's caught everyone's attention. Tyrannosatan versus the Sentient Dumpster in a game of Madden 96 for the SNES. With the angry video game nerd as the special referee, who knows what kind of chaos will unfold. Pauly Shore, ever the wild card, leans forward with a grin. Dude, I'm stoked for that one. But also, how about that foot race through Area 51? Bloody Mary versus Candyman. It's going to be totally gnarly, bro. Mr. Feeney nods, continuing the rundown of the night's matches. Indeed, Pauly, we also have a six-man tag team match featuring Alf, The Tick, and Kevin McAllister taking on Slippery Shark, Grumble Bee, and King Sphinx. That's sure to be an all-out brawl. Jim Ross takes over, his voice full of excitement. And that's not all. We've got a #1 contenders match for the tag team championships. Bill and Ted will face off against Ace Ventura and Dan Marino, the Powers of Pain, and the chaotic team of Gary Busey and the Iron Sheik. The winners of that match will earn a shot at the gold. Elvira, ever the voice of the macabre, brings up the next match. Let's not forget about Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on Pepsi Man. It's the Texas Rattlesnake against a living, breathing soda icon, only in 1412 wrestling, folks. Pauly Shore jumps in, his excitement evident. And then there's the main event, dudes. The 1412 championship is on the line. Majin Buu will defend his title against Nuclear Spawn and Scott Steiner. With those three powerhouses in the ring, it's going to be total mayhem. Mr. Feeney, always the consummate professional, wraps up the segment with a sense of gravitas. Tonight promises to be an unforgettable night of action, drama, and unpredictability. 1412 Wrestling never fails to deliver, and tonight will be no exception. Let's get ready for an incredible evening. As the commentary team finishes their introductions, the camera pans over the crowd, capturing their excitement and anticipation. The atmosphere is electric, the air thick with the promise of chaos and entertainment. The lights in the arena shift, focusing on the entrance ramp as the opening match is set to begin. The stage is set and the night is just getting started. The camera fades to black as the show heads to its first commercial break, leaving the audience eagerly awaiting the action to come. Back from commercial break, the scene transitions to the iconic Cheers bar, instantly recognizable with its warm, wooden interior and rows of bottles lining the shelves. The familiar buzz of chatter fills the air as Norm Peterson sits at his usual spot at the counter, nursing a beer with a calm, contemplative expression. The bar's usual patrons, Cliff Clavin, Carla, and Sam, are scattered around, enjoying their drinks and conversations, unaware of the chaos about to unfold. Grover, the ever enthusiastic backstage interviewer, approaches Norm with a microphone in hand, his wide eyed curiosity evident as he prepares to conduct the interview. Norm, it's good to see you, my friend. You've got a big match tonight. A bar room brawl right here at Cheers against Rito Revolto. How are you feeling? Norm takes a long sip of his beer, savoring the taste before turning to Grover with a relaxed smile. Grover, my man, a barroom brawl is just another day at the office for me. I've been holding down this stool longer than anyone, and if Rito thinks he can come into my place and cause trouble, well, let's just say he's in for a rude awakening. Grover, intrigued, leans in closer. What's your strategy going into this match, Norm? Rito Revolto is a tough opponent. Norm chuckles, setting his beer down on the counter. Strategy? I've got one simple rule: keep my beer cold and keep Rito on the floor. I know every nook and cranny of this place. He might have skeletons in his closet, but I've got plenty of tricks up my sleeve. Just as Norm finishes his sentence, the door to the bar swings open with a loud crash. The patrons look up in surprise as Rito Revolto, the menacing skeletal warrior, storms into the bar. His skeletal frame is adorned with tattered, war-torn armor, and his eyes glow with a malevolent red light. The air in the bar seems to chill as he approaches Norm, cracking his knuckles ominously. Grover takes a nervous step back, sensing the tension in the air. Norm, it looks like Rito is here. Before Norm can respond, Rito snatches a bottle from the counter and, without hesitation, smashes it over Norm's head. The bar erupts into chaos as Norm slumps over the counter, momentarily stunned by the impact. The patrons gasp, some diving for cover, while others edge closer to get a better view of the brewing brawl. Rito cackles, his voice a grating rasp. This is my bar now, Normie. Let's see how tough you really are. Norm, shaking off the initial daze, slowly rises from his seat, wiping away the shards of glass from his head. His calm demeanor is replaced with a steely resolve as he turns to face Rito. Big mistake, bonehead. With that, Norm launches himself at Rito, and the brawl begins in earnest. The two clash in the middle of the bar, trading punches and grappling with one another. Norm, drawing on his years of experience in the bar, expertly maneuvers Rito into a headlock and slams him face first into the counter. The impact rattles the glasses and bottles, sending a few tumbling to the floor. The commentary team's voices suddenly cut in, providing their insights from the 1412 arena. Jim Ross's voice is filled with excitement. My God, it's absolute chaos at Cheers. Norm Peterson is holding his own against the menacing Rito Revolto. You can just feel the history of that bar seeping into this brawl. Elvira adds her own twist. This is no ordinary bar fight, folks. Norm knows every inch of that bar, and Rito might have just bitten off more than he can chew, if he could chew, that is. Pauly Shore, ever the comedian, chimes in. Dude, Norm's throwing down. This is like happy hour gone totally wild, bro. As the brawl rages on, Norm grabs a bar stool and swings it at Rito, who ducks just in time, causing the stool to crash into the wall. Rito retaliates by grabbing a nearby pool cue, wielding it like a sword as he swings at Norm. Norm dodges the blows, using the narrow space behind the bar to his advantage. Rito's wild swings send glasses shattering and bottles crashing to the floor, creating a treacherous environment filled with broken glass and spilled liquor. Norm slips behind the counter, using it as a shield as Rito continues his relentless assault. At one point, Carla grabs a pitcher of beer and tosses it at Rito, hitting him square in the face, causing him to stumble back. Norm takes advantage of Rito's disorientation, grabbing a tray of beer mugs and hurling them at the skeletal warrior. The mugs crash into Rito, causing him to stagger backward, but he quickly recovers and charges at Norm with renewed fury. The two brawlers crash through tables and chairs, sending patrons scattering in all directions. Back from commercial break, the scene transitions. The two brawlers crash through tables and chairs, sending patrons scattering in all directions. Sam, trying to maintain semblance of order, ducks behind the bar, watching the chaos unfold with a mix of amusement and concern. Norm finally gets the upper hand by grabbing a bottle of whiskey from behind the bar. With a quick twist, he uncorks the bottle and douses Rito in the potent liquor. Before Rito can react, Norm lights a match and tosses it at him, setting Rito's tattered armor ablaze. The skeletal warrior howls in pain as the flames lick at his bones, momentarily blinded by the fire. In one final, decisive move, Norm grabs Rito and hurls him over the counter, sending him crashing through the bar itself. The impact is so powerful that the entire counter collapses, burying Rito under a pile of broken wood, bottles, and shattered glass. Norm, breathing heavily but victorious, stands over the wreckage, looking down at the defeated Rito Revolto. The patrons who had been watching the brawl with bated breath erupt into cheers, raising their glasses in a toast to Norm. Grover cautiously approaches the scene, microphone in hand, his eyes wide with awe. "Norm, you did it! You won the Bar Room Brawl." Norm, ever the humble victor, brushes off the dust and debris from his shirt. "Just another day at Cheers, Grover. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a cold beer waiting for me." With that, Norm grabs a fresh beer from behind the bar, popping the cap off with ease before taking a long, satisfying drink. The camera captures the moment as the screen fades to black, transitioning back to the 1412 arena, where the commentary team is still buzzing with excitement over the incredible brawl they just witnessed. Mr. Feeney, always the voice of reason, sums up the segment perfectly. That was a truly extraordinary barroom brawl, showcasing the resilience and resourcefulness of Norm Peterson. Rito Revolto may have underestimated Norm, but tonight, Norm proved why Cheers is his domain. Jim Ross, still reeling from the action, adds, "What a fight, folks. Norm Peterson just showed the world that he's not just a bar regular, he's a barroom brawler extraordinaire. You can't script that kind of intensity." Elvira, with a sly smile, concludes, "That was a brawl for the ages, and I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Rito Revolto. But for tonight, Norm Peterson stands tall." The scene transitions to a shot of the 1412 wrestling logo, signaling the end of the segment and the anticipation of the next match on the card. The night is still young, and the chaos is just beginning. Back from the previous segment, the camera cuts to a backstage area set up to resemble a makeshift gaming den. A retro TV sits atop a folding table with an SNES system hooked up and ready to go. A couple of mismatched chairs are set before the TV, one notably larger and reinforced to accommodate the massive presence of Tyrannosatan. The sentient dumpster looms ominously on the other side, its lid clanking with each slight movement, trash spilling out from within. Grover, ever the diligent interviewer, stands between the two competitors, holding a microphone. His expression is a mix of curiosity and trepidation as he turns first to Tyrannosatan, the hulking demonic dinosaur who looks wholly out of place in this gaming setup. Tyrannosatan's eyes glow with an otherworldly fire, his claws twitching impatiently as if barely holding back his primal urge to cause destruction. Tyrannosatan." Grover begins hesitantly, aiming the microphone toward the beast. "What are your thoughts going into this high-stakes Madden 96 match?" Tyrannosatan responds with a deep, guttural growl that shakes the very walls of the room. His sharp teeth glint menacingly as he snaps his jaws, but no words emerge, only the feral sounds of a creature born from chaos. Grover, clearly unnerved, pulls the microphone back and offers a nervous smile to the camera. "Well, I think that says it all," Grover stammers before quickly shifting his attention to the sentient dumpster, who sits motionless beside the SNES. "Dumpster, how do you feel about facing Tyrannosatan in this match?" The dumpster's lid creaks open slightly, and a deep, gravelly voice echoes from within its grimy depths. "Madden 96 is the only game worth playing, Grover, and I'm about to prove why I'm the king of trash and gaming. Tyrannosatan may be a monster in the ring, but this is my domain. I'll crush him like the trash he is." Before Grover can respond, the angry video game nerd, who has been pacing nearby, bursts into the scene. He's clad in his signature white button-up shirt, pocket protector, and glasses, looking visibly agitated. The nerd pushes between Grover and the dumpster, his face twisted in frustration as he rants. Are you kidding me? Madden 96 is garbage. The graphics are outdated, the gameplay is clunky, and the AI is as dumb as a bag of rocks. I've played some bad games in my time, but this is an insult to gamers everywhere. The sentient dumpster rumbles, clearly unimpressed. You talk big, nerd, but Madden 96 is a classic, and classics never die. With the pre-match banter complete, Grover, clearly relieved that the tension hasn't yet boiled over into violence, steps back and gestures toward the setup. All right, it's time for the match. Let's see who will reign supreme in the Madden 96 showdown. Tyrannosatan, with some difficulty, wedges his massive frame into the reinforced chair, his claws awkwardly gripping the SNES controller. The sentient dumpster rolls up beside the other chair, its lid lifting slightly to reveal a clawed hand emerging from the trash, ready to take on the challenge. The angry video game nerd takes his place between the two, controller in hand, ready to referee the match. All right, you two, no cheating, no dirty tricks, and for the love of all things holy, don't break the damn console. The match begins, the classic 16-bit football graphics flickering to life on the screen. Tyrannosatan's monstrous claws fumble with the controller, his large, cumbersome fingers struggling to hit the right buttons. The sentient dumpster, on the other hand, seems eerily adept at manipulating the controller, making swift moves and strategic plays. From the outset, it's clear that Tyrannosatan is at a disadvantage, his inhuman form unsuited for the delicate nature of video game controls. His frustration grows as the dumpster repeatedly scores touchdowns, the scoreboard reflecting his growing lead. Each time Tyrannosatan fumbles a pass or misses a tackle, the sentient dumpster's lid creaks open in what can only be described as a mocking laugh. The commentary team's voices break in, giving the audience insight into the absurdity unfolding backstage. Jim Ross, with a hint of disbelief in his voice, comments, "This has got to be one of the strangest matches we've ever seen. Tyrannosatan is struggling, but you've got to hand it to him. He's giving it everything he's got, even if those claws weren't made for gaming." Elvira, always quick with a quip, adds, "Who knew a dumpster could be so good at video games? But poor Tyrannosatan, he might be fierce in the ring, but on this NES, he's looking more like a gentle giant." Pauly Shore laughs, "Dude, this is gnarly. It's like watching my grandma try to play video games. I mean, I love Tyrannosatan, but he's getting trashed. Literally." As the match progresses, it becomes evident that the sentient dumpster is trying to cheat, spilling trash onto the SNES console in an attempt to short-circuit the game. Angry video game nerd is quick to catch the ploy, though, and swats the trash away, like his anger mounting. "Hey, no cheating, you festering pile of junk," the nerd yells, pointing an accusatory finger at the dumpster. "This is bad enough without you making it worse." Despite the dumpster's dirty tricks, Tyrannosatan manages to land a few successful plays, much to the surprise of everyone watching. A well-timed interception, followed by a clumsy yet effective touchdown, narrows the gap on the scoreboard. The commentators, sensing a potential comeback, begin to rally behind the demonic dinosaur. "Could it be? Is Tyrannosatan making a comeback?" Jim Ross exclaims. "This is the most unlikely thing I've ever seen." Elvira chuckles. "He may not have thumbs, but he's got heart, and maybe a little bit of luck too." As the game enters its final minutes, tensions run high. The score is close, and Tyrannosatan, despite his obvious disadvantage, is giving it his all. The dumpster, growing increasingly frustrated, begins to thrash about, causing trash to spill everywhere, but it can't seem to secure the win. In a final, desperate move, Tyrannosatan manages to press the right combination of buttons, albeit accidentally, triggering a last-second touchdown that wins him the game. The screen flashes with the final score, and the crowd, back in the arena and at cheers, erupts in cheers and applause. Tyrannosatan roars and roars triumphantly, raising his claws high in the air, clearly pleased with his victory despite the odds. The sentient dumpster, meanwhile, rattles in fury, its lid banging up and down in frustration. The angry video game nerd shakes his head in disbelief. "I can't believe it. Tyrannosatan actually won. And you know what? I still hate this game. It's a piece of crap." The sentient dumpster, furious at its loss, tries to lunge at the SNES, but Tyrannosatan is quicker, smashing the dumpster with one powerful swing of his claw, sending it rolling back into the shadows, trash flying everywhere. With the match over, Grover cautiously approaches the victorious Tyrannosatan. Congratulations, Tyrannosatan. You've proven that even a monstrous beast can dominate in the world of video games. Do you have anything to say? Tyrannosatan, still incapable of speech, lets out a low, satisfied growl before stomping off, leaving Grover standing amidst the wreckage of the sentient dumpster. The camera cuts back to the commentary team in the arena, where Mr. I, Feeney, Jim Ross, Elvira, and Pauly Shore are all visibly entertained by what they just witnessed. Mr. Feeney, with a bemused expression, says, "Well, that was certainly unique. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before." Jim Ross nods in agreement. "You're right, Feeney. Tyrannosatan just proved that he can adapt to any challenge, even one as strange as this. What a win for the big guy." Elvira grins. "I love it. Who would have thought a dinosaur could win at Madden? But hey, this is 1412 wrestling. Make the impossible happen." Pauly Shore laughing adds, "Totally, dude. That was off the charts. Let's keep this crazy train rolling." As the camera fades out, the next segment is teased, leaving the audience eager for what's next in this wild night of 1412 wrestling. Back from the previous segment, the screen fades into a dimly lit, eerie setting deep within the secretive corridors of Area 51. The camera pans across darkened hallways and flickering fluorescent lights, giving the whole environment a chilling, otherworldly vibe. Shadows stretch ominously along the walls, and the hum of unknown machinery fills the air. In the middle of this sinister setting, we find Bloody Mary and Candyman, each standing on opposite ends of a long, desolate hallway. The atmosphere is thick with tension, both competitors poised to engage in one of the most bizarre and terrifying foot races ever conceived. Before the race begins, the screen splits to show pre-recorded promos from both Bloody Mary and Candyman. Bloody Mary's face, half hidden in the shadows, appears on the left side of the screen. Her voice is a haunting whisper that echoes as if coming from a distant, ethereal realm. "Pauly Shore's soul will be mine," she hisses, her eyes glowing with a malevolent light. He thinks he can joke his way out of fear, but there's no escaping the dark when it comes for you. Candyman, you're just another obstacle in my path to claiming what is rightfully mine. On the right side of the screen, Candyman, dressed in his signature tattered coat, stares intensely into the camera. Bees buzz around him as he speaks in a deep, resonant voice that sends shivers down the spine. "The whispers of the past have brought me here, to reclaim what is owed. Pauly Shore's soul will be the first of many, a reminder that fear is not something you can escape. And Bloody Mary, you are nothing more than a ghost story to frighten children. I am the legend. I am fear incarnate." The tension builds as the camera cuts back to the Area 51 hallway where the race is about to begin. Standing between the two terrifying entities is Fox Mulder, a look of deep suspicion etched on his face. He's clearly uncomfortable in this setting, his every movement cautious as if he expects something horrific to happen at any moment. "This race isn't just about who's the fastest," Mulder says, his voice low and gravelly. "It's about uncovering the truth about why you're both really here. I've seen enough in my time to know when there's more at play. And believe me, I'll get my answers one way or another." With that ominous statement, Mulder steps back, signaling the start of the race. A loud siren blares through the hallway, and Bloody Mary and Candyman bolt forward, their movements swift and eerie, as if they're gliding rather than running. The camera follows their progress through the labyrinthine corridors of Area 51. As they race, the environment grows more bizarre and dangerous. They pass through rooms filled with glowing green vats containing unknown substances, where shadowy figures work diligently behind thick glass walls. The occasional burst of light from flickering screens or malfunctioning equipment illuminates the competitors' determined faces. Bloody Mary, using her supernatural ability to phase through walls, occasionally takes shortcuts, her form dissolving into mist before reappearing on the other side. Candyman, on the other hand, uses his hook to swing from one metal beam to another, gaining speed and momentum. Both are relentless, neither willing to back down. As they reach a particularly narrow passageway, they're suddenly confronted by a group of government agents in black suits. The agents shout commands, weapons raised, but both Bloody Mary and Candyman are undeterred. With a wave of her hand, Bloody Mary shrouds the area in darkness, confusing the agents as she slips past them. Candyman, with a powerful thrust of his hook, sends one of the agents crashing into a control panel, causing sparks to fly as the system shorts out. The race continues into even more restricted areas of the facility. They burst through a heavy steel door marked Top Secret, finding themselves in a cavernous hangar where an enormous alien spacecraft hovers ominously above the ground. Strange, otherworldly creatures skitter across the floor, their eyes glowing as they observe the racers with an unsettling curiosity. But just as Bloody Mary and Candyman are about to make their final sprint toward the finish line, a deafening explosion rocks the entire facility. The camera shakes violently, and the screen fills with static for a brief moment before cutting back to reveal the source of the chaos. Mulder, parachuting from above, lands between the two competitors, wielding a rocket launcher with grim determination. "This ends now," Mulder shouts as he fires the rocket launcher, sending a missile hurtling toward Bloody Mary and Candyman. The explosion that follows is massive, the shockwave sending both entities flying backward and throwing them into the surrounding alien machinery. As the dust settles, Mulder stands amidst the wreckage, his eyes blazing with the need for answers. He stalks over to where Bloody Mary and Candyman are struggling to recover, the dark energy surrounding them momentarily weakened by the sheer force of Mulder's attack. "Tell me why you're really here," Mulder demands, his voice echoing through the hangar. "What do you want with Pauly Shore's soul, and what's your connection to Area 51? But before either Bloody Mary or Candyman can respond, the lights in the hangar flicker out completely, plunging the scene into darkness. The only sounds are the distant hum of the alien spacecraft and the soft buzzing of bees from Candyman's aura. The camera zooms in on Mulder's face, illuminated only by the faint glow of emergency lights, as he glances around warily, realizing that he's lost control of the situation. When the lights finally flicker back on, both Bloody Mary and Candyman are gone, leaving Mulder standing alone amidst the destruction. The rocket launcher lies discarded on the ground, and the alien creatures have vanished into the shadows. The screen fades to black as the commentary team's voices break the silence. Jim Ross, his voice tinged with disbelief, says, "I don't know what we just witnessed, folks. That was more than just a race. That was a battle of legends, and it's clear that the stakes are higher than we ever imagined." Elvira, with a tone of admiration, adds, "Mulder may have just opened a Pandora's box that he can't close. Bloody Mary and Candyman are forces of nature, and they won't be stopped so easily." Pauly Shore, still trying to process the chaos, quips, "Dude, that was intense!" Mulder came in hot with that rocket launcher, but I don't think this is over by a long shot. Mr. Feeney, ever the voice of reason, concludes, "This race may have ended in a no contest, but the real contest is just beginning. There's more to this story, and I fear we've only scratched the surface." As the commentary team reflects on the bizarre and terrifying events that have just unfolded, the camera transitions to the next segment, leaving the audience with more questions than answers about what's really going on in 1412 wrestling. Back from the previous segment, the screen cuts to Grover standing backstage with a microphone in hand. The atmosphere is tense as Grover prepares to interview the three teams set to compete in the upcoming match. The camera pans to Desmond Hume and Jack Shepard standing side by side, their faces etched with determination. Grover begins the interview, his voice steady. "Desmond, Jack, tonight you face not just one, but two unpredictable teams. What's your strategy going into this match?" Desmond, always the calm and philosophical one, takes a moment before answering. "Grover, Jack and I have faced impossible odds before. We've survived the island, faced our demons, and we've come out stronger. Tonight, it's about unity. It's about trust. We know each other inside and out, and that's what's going to give us the edge." Jack nods in agreement, his eyes focused. "We've been through hell together, and we're not about to let some spells or tricks tear us apart. Tonight, we're going to show everyone what true teamwork looks like." The camera shifts to Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, who stand off to the side, exuding an aura of dark elegance. Gaga, with her eyes gleaming with mischief, leans into the microphone. Chaos, Grover, that's the only strategy we need. Tonight, we're not just going to win, we're going to make sure everyone remembers who really holds the power in 1412 wrestling. Ariana Grande, her voice dripping with confidence, adds, "We've got the magic, the talent, and the looks. Desmond and Jack might think they've got this in the bag, but they have no idea what's coming. As for Bobby Heenan and that little twerp, they're about to get a lesson in real chaos." The camera then moves to Bobby Heenan, who is standing with the random kid by his side. The random kid, looking as unassuming as ever, fidgets restlessly. Heenan, always the cunning strategist, grins widely. You see, Grover, that's the beauty of this match. No one knows what to expect from the random kid. He's unpredictable, unorthodox, and that's what makes him dangerous. And me, I'm the brain, the greatest manager of all time. Lady Gaga and Ariana might have their spells, Desmond and Jack might have their teamwork, but we've got something they'll never see coming. Grover, visibly unsettled by Heenan's confidence, wraps up the interviews. Well, folks, it looks like we're in for a wild match tonight. Let's head to the ring. The camera transitions to the ring, which is surrounded by an excited crowd eager to witness the chaos that's about to unfold. The eerie sounds of Lady Gaga's entrance theme fill the arena, and she makes her way to the ring alongside Ariana Grande. Both women are draped in dark, flowing robes, their presence commanding as they cast sinister glances at the audience. Next, Desmond Hume and Jack Shepherd's theme plays, and they enter the ring with a determined stride. The crowd cheers loudly, clearly behind the duo who have proven time and time again that they can overcome any challenge. Finally, the familiar scheming tones of Bobby Heenan's entrance music hit, and he struts down the ramp with the random kid in tow. The kid looks around, seemingly lost in thought, while Heenan grins and taunts the crowd, his confidence unwavering. The bell rings, signaling the start of the match. Right from the outset, it's clear that this will be no ordinary contest. Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande waste no time unleashing their magical abilities, casting spells that send Desmond and Jack reeling. Bright flashes of light and bursts of energy illuminate the ring as Gaga uses her powers to manipulate the environment, creating illusions and distractions. Desmond and Jack, however, refuse to be rattled. They rely on their synergy and quick thinking to counter the chaos. Desmond manages to catch Ariana off guard with a swift dropkick, sending her sprawling into the corner. Jack, meanwhile, locks up with Lady Gaga, the two exchanging a series of fast-paced moves, each trying to gain the upper hand. Bobby Heenan, ever the opportunist, bides his time on the apron, shouting instructions to the random kid, who seems to be in his own world. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the random kid springs into action, grabbing Desmond by the leg and tripping him up just as he's about to tag Jack. The unexpected move catches Desmond off guard, allowing Lady Gaga to capitalize with a powerful spell that sends Desmond crashing to the mat. With Desmond momentarily incapacitated, Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande turn their attention to Jack. The two women double-team him, using a combination of spells and quick strikes to wear him down. Just when it looks like Jack might be overwhelmed, he ducks under a high kick from Ariana, causing her to accidentally hit Gaga instead. The crowd roars in excitement as Jack fights back, landing a series of punches on both opponents. He manages to get the upper hand, but his momentum is quickly halted when Bobby Heenan finally tags himself in. The brain, sensing an opportunity, directs the random kid into the fray. The random kid, with his chaotic energy, becomes a wild card in the match. He darts around the ring unpredictably, confusing both Desmond and Jack with his erratic movements. At one point, he climbs the turnbuckle and leaps off with a bizarre but surprisingly effective flying headbutt that takes Jack down. Desmond, now back on his feet, rushes in to help Jack, but he's intercepted by Heenan, who delivers a low blow while the referee's attention is diverted by Gaga and Grande's antics on the outside. With Desmond doubled over in pain, Heenan quickly tags the random kid back in. In the final moments of the match, chaos reigns supreme. Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande re-enter the ring, casting one final spell that causes the lights to flicker and the ropes to shake violently. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as all 6 competitors engage in a frantic, all-out brawl in the center of the ring. Amidst the chaos, the random kid seizes his moment. He sneaks up behind Desmond, rolls him up in a schoolboy pin, and to everyone's shock, including Heenan's, secures the 3 count. The referee signals the end of the match, and the Random Kids team is declared the winner. The crowd erupts in a mixture of disbelief and excitement as Heenan, elated, rushes into the ring to celebrate with the Random Kid. Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, clearly displeased with the outcome, glare at Heenan before disappearing in a cloud of smoke, vowing to unleash even more chaos in the future. Desmond and Jack, still reeling from the unexpected loss, exchange frustrated looks as they watch Heenan and the Random Kid celebrate. The camera zooms in on Heenan's face, his grin wide as he revels in the victory. Jim Ross, from the commentary booth, can hardly believe what he's seen. Folks, I don't know what to say. Bobby Heenan and the Random Kid have somehow pulled off the upset of the century. This just goes to show you, in 1412 wrestling, anything can happen. Elvira, with a tone of amusement, adds, I have to give it to Heenan. He's still got it. But Gaga and Grand aren't going to forget this. Something tells me they've got some dark plans in store. Pauly Shore, always ready with a quip, laughs. Dude, that was totally nuts. The Random Kid just schooled everyone, and Heenan is loving it. Mr. Feeney, ever the voice of reason, concludes, tonight was a lesson in unpredictability. Desmond and Jack fought valiantly, but sometimes the wild cards are the ones you have to watch out for. This won't be the last we see of this rivalry. As the camera cuts to the next segment, the scene fades with Bobby Heenan raising the Random Kid's arm in victory, the crowd buzzing with anticipation for what will happen next in 1412 wrestling. Back from commercial break, the camera cuts to the ring where Beavis and Butthead are already making their entrance. Their familiar theme song blares through the speakers as the 2 delinquents stumble down the ramp, giggling and shoving each other. The crowd is a mix of cheers and laughter, fully expecting the chaos that these 2 always bring. Beavis and Butthead make their way to the ring, but instead of focusing on the match, they immediately start scanning the crowd, clearly on the lookout for Pamela Anderson. As they reach the ring, Beavis nudges Butthead, who grins stupidly. Hey Beavis, check it out. We're like totally gonna score tonight. Beavis, wide-eyed and excited, bounces up and down. Yeah, yeah, this is gonna be cool. The commentary team can't help but chuckle at the duo's antics. Jim Ross, trying to maintain his composure, comments, Folks, I don't know what Beavis and Butthead are expecting tonight, but I can guarantee it's not going to go the way they think. Elvira, amused by the situation, adds, Oh, this is going to be good. I can't wait to see how they handle Pamela Anderson in the ring. Pauly Shore, ever the Joker, chimes in. Dudes, I don't think these guys have a clue what they're in for. Pamela's not here to mess around. The lights in the arena dim slightly as Principal McVicker's theme music hits. The crowd gives a mixed reaction as the beleaguered principal marches down the ramp, ruler in hand. McVicker's face is etched with frustration and exhaustion, clearly fed up with the antics of Beavis and Butthead. His eyes narrow as he spots the 2 troublemakers already causing a scene in the ring. As McVicker enters the ring, he's followed by the entrance music of Pamela Anderson. The crowd erupts into cheers as Pamela struts down the ramp, looking every bit the confident and glamorous star. Beavis and Butthead's eyes widen as they catch sight of her, and they immediately start jostling each other for her attention. Hey, Pamela. Hey, over here. Butthead shouts, waving his arms frantically. Yeah, we're like the best tag team ever. Beavis adds, his voice cracking with excitement. Pamela Anderson, completely unfazed by their antics, rolls her eyes and focuses on the match ahead. She climbs into the ring with an air of confidence, not even acknowledging Beavis and Butthead's attempts to impress her. The bell rings and the match begins. Beavis and Butthead, instead of preparing to wrestle, continue their attempts to hit on Pamela. Butthead approaches her with a cocky grin. Hey baby, how about after this match, you and me, go out for some nachos? Pamela, clearly unimpressed, responds with a swift slap across Butthead's face, sending him stumbling backward. The crowd roars with laughter as Butthead rubs his cheek, looking both shocked and oddly pleased. McVicker, seeing that Beavis and Butthead aren't taking the match seriously, tries to take control. He grabs Beavis by the collar and yells, You 2 idiots are going to cost us this match. Get it together! Beavis, still more interested in Pamela than the match, shrugs off McVicker's grip and heads over to where Butthead is still reeling from the slap. The two of them huddle together, whispering and giggling like schoolboys. Seeing that he's getting nowhere, McVicker decides to take matters into his own hands. He goes after Butthead, swinging his ruler like a madman, but Butthead dodges clumsily, tripping over his own feet in the process. McVicker's frustration grows as he chases Butthead around the ring, is trying to maintain some semblance of control. Meanwhile, Pamela Anderson decides she's had enough of the boys' nonsense. She takes matters into her own hands, quite literally. As Butthead stumbles into her path, she quickly rolls him up in a tight pinning maneuver. The referee drops to the mat and counts 1, 2, 3. The bell rings, signaling the end of the match. Pamela Anderson has secured the win for her team, much to the delight of the crowd. Beavis and Butthead, still not entirely sure what just happened, look around in confusion as the referee raises Pamela's hand in victory. Jim Ross, with a mix of amusement and exasperation, exclaims, "Well, there you have it, folks. Pamela Anderson with the quick victory, and Beavis and Butthead didn't even know what hit them." Elvira, laughing, adds, "Those boys are going to have to learn that charm isn't everything. Pamela wasn't here to play around." Pauly Shore, still chuckling, chimes in, "Dude, that was totally epic. Butthead didn't even see it coming." But the action doesn't end there. Just as Pamela Anderson is leaving the ring, Principal McVicker, now completely fed up, grabs his ruler and starts chasing Beavis and Butthead around the ring again. The two boys scream and run, trying to escape McVicker's wrath. Hey Beavis, run faster, he's gonna kill us." Butthead yells as they both dart out of the ring. "Yeah, haha, yeah, this sucks." Beavis shouts as they scramble up the ramp, with McVicker hot on their heels, swinging his ruler wildly. The crowd is in stitches as McVicker chases Beavis and Butthead out of the arena, the boys' screams echoing through the venue. The camera follows them all the way to the exit, where they finally escape, leaving a frustrated McVicker standing at the door, shaking his fist. As the segment comes to a close, the camera cuts back to the commentary team, who are still recovering from the hilarity of what just transpired. Jim Ross, trying to regain his composure, says, "Well, folks, that was certainly one for the books. Beavis and Butthead might have lost the match, but they'll always find a way to get themselves into trouble." Elvira, still laughing, adds, "I don't think those two will ever learn, but that's what makes them so much fun to watch." Pauly Shore, with a grin, concludes, "Totally, dudes. That was the best. Let's see if they can keep out of trouble next time. But I doubt it." The screen fades to black as the show heads to commercial, leaving the audience eagerly anticipating what other antics Beavis and Butthead might get into next in 1412 wrestling. Commercial, the camera cuts to Grover standing in the interview area, microphone in hand, ready to mediate the tension between the two teams. On one side, Earthworm Jim stands confidently with Cookie Monster at his side, munching on a cookie and looking ready for action. On the other side, the Wet Bandits, Harry and Marv, shuffle nervously, their eyes darting around as if they're about to be caught red-handed. Grover, ever the professional, begins, "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a very special match between Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster against the Wet Bandits. But before we get to the action, let's hear from the competitors. Earthworm Jim, you've made some serious accusations against Harry and Marv, claiming they are ancient time-traveling warlords. What do you have to say about that?" Earthworm Jim steps forward, his expression serious, yet with a hint of his usual quirky charm. "That's right, Grover. These two jokers," he points dramatically at the Wet Bandits, "aren't just bumbling burglars, they're ancient time-traveling warlords here to wreak havoc across the centuries. But I'm not going to let that happen. Not on my watch." Cookie Monster, taking a break from devouring his cookie, nods in agreement, crumbs flying everywhere. "Yeah, yeah, me stop them too. But first, maybe we find more cookies?" Harry and Marv exchange uneasy glances, their guilty expressions betraying more than they'd like. Marv, trying to cover their tracks, steps up to the microphone. That's ridiculous. We're just regular burglars. We don't know anything about time travel or warlords." Harry, more composed but still visibly nervous, adds, "Yeah, yeah. We're just here to win a match and maybe snag some valuables. That's all. Grover, sensing the tension, tries to keep the interview moving smoothly. Well, it seems like there's some disagreement here. Let's see if we can settle this in the ring. Good luck to both teams. With that, the competitors make their way to the ring, the audience buzzing with anticipation. Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster enter first, receiving a warm welcome from the crowd. Jim flexes his muscle, or rather his suit's muscle, as Cookie Monster waves at the fans, a cookie in each hand. The Wet Bandits follow, their entrance less enthusiastic as they slink down the ramp, looking around suspiciously as if expecting to be ambushed. The commentators can't help but comment on their shifty demeanor. Jim Ross, as always, captures the mood perfectly. Folks, we've got an interesting match on our hands tonight. Earthworm Jim has accused the Wet Bandits of being more than just petty criminals. But whether or not they're ancient warlords, we're about to find out what they're made of in that ring. Elvira, intrigued by the drama, adds, I don't know, JR. There's something off about those two. But whether they're warlords or not, they'd better be ready to face Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster. Pauly Shore, with his usual laid-back style, chimes in. Dude, if they're really time-traveling warlords, I'm like, totally freaked out. But either way, this is going to be gnarly. The bell rings and the match is underway. Earthworm Jim starts off against Marv, who nervously circles the ring, clearly outmatched. Jim uses his agility and quick reflexes to dodge Marv's clumsy attempts at offense, playfully taunting him as he does so. Come on, Marv. Is that all you've got? Jim teases, easily ducking under a wild swing from Marv and retaliating with a quick jab. Marv stumbles back, more flustered than ever, and tags in Harry. Harry, slightly more confident, charges at Jim, but the outcome is no different. Earthworm Jim effortlessly evades his attacks, eventually knocking Harry down with a well-placed kick. The crowd cheers as Earthworm Jim tags in Cookie Monster, who enters the ring with a loud, enthusiastic "Cookie!" Cookie Monster's unorthodox style catches Harry off guard as the blue-furred beast charges at him, shoving him into the corner and then chomping down on a nearby turnbuckle pad, much to the amusement of the fans. Harry tries to fight back, but Cookie Monster's wild, unpredictable offense keeps him on the defensive. Just as it looks like Cookie Monster might actually try to eat Harry, Marv runs in to make the save. The two Wet Bandits double-team Cookie Monster, but it only seems to fuel his hunger as he fights them both off, sending Marv flying out of the ring with a powerful throw. Jim Ross is clearly enjoying the chaos. Cookie Monster's on a rampage. The Wet Bandits can't seem to catch a break. Elvira, with a grin, adds, they're gonna need more than luck to get out of this one. Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster are on fire tonight. Pauly Shore, always ready with a quip, says, dude, they're toast. Like, no chance. The match continues with Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster dominating, but the Wet Bandits resort to dirty tactics, pulling out hidden objects from their pockets, small bags of marbles, and even a paint can on a rope. They manage to trip up Earthworm Jim temporarily, knocking him to the mat. Seizing the opportunity, the Wet Bandits begin to focus their efforts on Cookie Monster, trying to wear him down with double team moves. But just when it seems they might gain the upper hand, Earthworm Jim springs back into action, using his plasma blaster to trap both Harry and Marv in a sticky energy field. With the Wet Bandits immobilized, Earthworm Jim tags in Cookie Monster, who happily delivers a double cookie chomp to both bandits, sending them reeling. Jim follows up by aiming his plasma blaster at the Wet Bandits, trapping them in a glowing energy bubble. Time to send you back to the Stone Age. Earthworm Jim declares with a smirk, before launching them both across the ring with a single powerful blast. The Wet Bandits crash into each other and collapse in a heap. Cookie Monster, seeing the perfect opportunity, quickly covers Marv for the pinfall as the referee counts 1, 2, 3. The bell rings, signaling the end of the match, and Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster are declared the winners. The crowd erupts in cheers as the two unlikely allies celebrate their victory. Earthworm Jim, ever the hero, strikes a pose while Cookie Monster, of course, devours another cookie in celebration. Jim Ross sums it up perfectly. What a match, folks. Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster pull off a big win, and the Wet Bandits are left licking their wounds. Elvira adds, those two make quite the team. I wouldn't want to be in the Wet Bandits' shoes right now. Pauly Shore, as always, it has the last word. Totally awesome, dudes. Jim and Cookie Monster rocked it. But just as the celebration is winding down, the arena is suddenly interrupted by the entrance music of Jim Cornette. The notorious manager storms down to the ring with a microphone in hand, his face twisted in anger. Hold on, just a damn minute, Cornette shouts as he climbs into the ring. I've seen a lot of garbage in my time, but this is just too much. Earthworm Jim, Cookie Monster, Wet Bandits? What kind of clown show is this supposed to be? The crowd boos loudly, but Cornette continues undeterred. This entire episode has been a complete disaster, a travesty. I don't know who's running things around here, but they should be ashamed of themselves. I've seen better wrestling in a daycare center. Jim Cornette paces back and forth in the ring, his rant growing more intense by the second. And don't even get me started on the booking. Who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to have a damn time-traveling earthworm and a blue cookie-eating monster as a tag team? This whole place has gone to hell in a handbasket. Earthworm Jim and Cookie Monster look on, slightly confused but still amused by Cornette's tirade. The Wet Bandits, meanwhile, slink out of the ring, clearly eager to escape Cornette's wrath. Jim Ross, trying to keep things professional, comments, "Well, folks, it seems Jim Cornette has some strong opinions about tonight's show, but you can't deny the entertainment value we've seen so far." Elvira, with a sly grin, adds, "Cornette's not exactly wrong about the chaos, but that's what makes 412 wrestling so much fun." Pauly Shore, ever the jokester, chimes in, "Dude, Cornette needs to chill. It's all about having a good time." As Cornette continues his rant, here's the text you provided. Back from the break, the camera cuts to the interview area where Grover is standing by with Alf, the Tick, and Kevin McAllister. The trio exudes confidence as they prepare to take on the monstrous team of Slippery Shark, Grumblebee, and King Sphinx, all under the watchful eye of GM Rita Repulsa. Grover, ever the diligent interviewer, starts off, "Alf, the Tick, Kevin McAllister, you're up against some formidable opponents tonight. What's your strategy for dealing with Rita Repulsa's minions?" Alf, with his usual laid-back demeanor, grabs the microphone first. "Strategy? Grover, my man, the only strategy I need is to outwit, outplay, and maybe find a cat snack afterward. But seriously, those goons don't stand a chance. I'm Alf, baby." The Tick, standing tall and exuding his trademark bravado, chimes in next. "Justice is on our side, Grover. No matter what evil Rita Repulsa throws at us, we will smash it." Evil trembles before the might of justice, and tonight we deliver it with a mighty blue fist. Kevin McAllister, ever the mischievous trickster, holds up a bag of marbles and a slingshot with a grin. These guys might think they're tough, but they haven't faced anything like me before. Let's just say I've got a few tricks up my sleeve that'll send them packing. The crowd cheers in approval, clearly behind the heroic trio. Grover, pleased with their enthusiasm, and half nods appreciatively. "Thank you, gentlemen. Best of luck in your match tonight." The camera then cuts to the opposing team, standing menacingly in a darkened corner of the arena. Rita Repulsa stands in front, her cackling laughter echoing through the hallway as her minions, Slippery Shark, Grumblebee, and King Sphinx, snarl and growl behind her. "Luck?" Rita sneers, grabbing the microphone from Grover. "Luck has nothing to do with it. My monsters will crush those pathetic heroes, and by the end of tonight, they'll be begging for mercy. Isn't that right, boys?" Slippery Shark slashes the air with his fin, growling menacingly, while Grumblebee buzzes angrily, his wings fluttering at high speed. King Sphinx lets out a powerful roar, shaking the very walls of the arena. The three monsters look ready to tear their opponents apart. Rita continues, her voice dripping with venom. "Alf, the Tick, Kevin McAllister, you're nothing but insignificant bugs, and I'm going to squash you. Prepare to face the full wrath of Rita Repulsa." With the tension at a boiling point, the camera cuts to the arena where both teams make their entrances. Alf, the Tick, and Kevin McAllister enter to a thunderous ovation, the fans rallying behind them as they charge down the ramp, ready for battle. Alf throws out a few high fives, the Tick strikes his heroic pose, and Kevin McAllister flashes a confident grin as he prepares for whatever chaos might ensue. Then the arena lights dim and ominous music blares through the speakers as Rita Repulsa leads her monstrous team to the ring. Slippery Shark, Grumblebee, and King Sphinx look as menacing as ever, with Rita cackling behind them, her staff crackling with dark energy. Jim Ross, ever the voice of reason, sets the stage. Folks, this is going to be a battle for the ages. On one side, you've got the valiant heroes, Alf, the Tick, and young Kevin McAllister, up against the terrifying forces of Rita Repulsa. This one's bound to get wild. Elvira, intrigued by the contrast between the teams, adds, "You've got to admire the guts of Alf, the Tick, and Kevin McAllister. They're facing off against monsters, but they're not backing down. Let's see if they can outsmart and outfight these creatures." Pauly Shore, always ready with a quip, chimes in, "Dude, this is going to be, like, totally epic. You've got aliens, superheroes, and the kid who outsmarted burglars. What could be better?" The bell rings and the match begins with the Tick squaring off against Slippery Shark. The two powerhouses collide in the center of the ring, trading heavy blows as the crowd erupts in cheers. The Tick quickly gains the upper hand, using his superior strength to slam Slippery Shark into the mat with a resounding thud. "Justice is served!" The Tick bellows, flexing his muscles as the crowd roars in approval. Slippery Shark, dazed but not defeated, slithers back to his corner and tags in Grumblebee. The buzzing menace charges at the Tick, using his speed and agility to evade the Tick's powerful strikes. But the Tick remains undeterred, eventually catching Grumblebee in midair and tossing him across the ring like a rag doll. Meanwhile, Kevin McAllister and King Sphinx have tagged in, engaging in a battle of wits and brawn. Kevin, ever the trickster, uses his bag of marbles to trip up King Sphinx, sending the mighty creature crashing to the mat. The crowd laughs and cheers as Kevin follows up with a well-aimed slingshot shot to King Sphinx's head, further disorienting the monster. But Rita Repulsa is not to be outdone. From the outside, she uses her dark magic to give her minions a boost, sending a surge of energy into King Sphinx, who roars back to life and grabs Kevin by the collar when lifting him high above the ring. Kevin struggles, but before King Sphinx can deliver a crushing blow, Alf springs into action, leaping off the top rope and tackling King Sphinx with a flying elbow. The impact forces King Sphinx to drop Kevin, who quickly scrambles to safety. Jim Ross, on the edge of his seat, exclaims, "Alf saves Kevin McAllister just in the nick of time. This match is absolutely chaotic." Elvira, impressed by the teamwork, adds, "These three are really working together like a well-oiled machine, but Rita Repulsa's monsters are still dangerous." Pauly Shore, laughing at the antics in the ring, says, "This is totally rad, dudes. These guys are kicking butt." The match continues at a frenetic pace, with each team member getting their moments to shine. Alf uses his quick reflexes to dodge Slippery Shark's attacks, even managing to shove a pie in the creature's face at one point, drawing laughter from the crowd. The Tick takes on both Grumblebee and King Sphinx at once, showing off his incredible strength as he slams them both into the mat simultaneously. But the turning point comes when the Tick, after a series of powerful moves, locks in his devastating submission hold, the tick-tock on Grumblebee. The buzzing menace struggles, trying to break free, but the Tick's grip is too strong. As Grumblebee's buzzing grows weaker, Rita Repulsa shrieks in frustration from the outside, unable to help her minion. Finally, with no other option, Grumblebee taps out, signaling the end of the match. The bell rings, and Alf, the Tick, and Kevin McAllister are declared the winners. The crowd erupts in cheers as the victorious trio celebrates in the ring. Alf and Kevin high-five each other while the Tick strikes a heroic pose, soaking in the adulation of the fans. Jim Ross, as always, sums it up perfectly. What a match! Alf the Tick and Kevin McAllister have overcome the odds and defeated Rita Repulsa's monsters. This is a huge victory for them. Elvira, with a smile, adds, "It just goes to show you that when you combine brains, brawn, and a little bit of mischief, you can overcome even the darkest magic." Pauly Shore, ever the surfer dude, wraps it up. "Totally awesome, dudes. These guys rocked it. I can't wait to see what's next." As Alf the Tick and Kevin McAllister continue their celebration, Rita Repulsa and her defeated minions retreat up the ramp, with Rita vowing revenge in the future. The heroes stand tall in the ring, their victory a shining example of teamwork and determination. The camera fades to black, signaling the end of the segment and leaving the audience eagerly anticipating the next chapter in the ongoing battle between good and evil in 1412 wrestling. Back from the break, the cameras cut to the backstage area where Grover is stationed, ready to interview the competitors before their match. The atmosphere is electric, with each team eager to make their case for a shot at the tag team championships. First up are Bill and Ted, looking as enthusiastic as ever. They strum air guitars in unison as Grover asks them about their strategy. Dude, Grover, this is like totally righteous, Bill exclaims. We're just going to go out there, rock the ring, and bring the party to those other teams. Ted nods eagerly, adding, Yeah, we're on an excellent adventure, and it's going to end with us winning, dude. Next, Grover turns to Ace Ventura and Dan Marino. Ace, ever the eccentric, makes a grand entrance with his trademark Hawaiian shirt and slick back hair, while Dan stands beside him, cool and composed. Alrighty then, Grover, Ace says, flashing a big grin. Tonight, it's all about teamwork, and with the Marino magic, we're going straight to the top. Dan, nodding seriously, adds, We're here to win, and nothing's going to stand in our way. The powers of pain, Warlord and Barbarian, stand menacingly next to Grover. We don't need to talk, Warlord growls. We let our actions speak in the ring, and tonight we're going to crush anyone who gets in our way. Barbarian, with a sinister smile, simply flexes his muscles, ready for the carnage ahead. Finally, Grover turns to Busey and Sheik, who are representing the golf cart stable. Gary Busey is already chugging a bottle of Jägermeister, while Iron Sheik stumbles forward, his usual broken English accent slurring with every word. Let me tell you something, jabronis, Sheik shouts, his eyes wild. We are the best. Nobody can beat us. We'll humble all of you tonight. Buzzy, still clutching the bottle, grins maniacally. We're going to take those belts and we're going to run this place. You hear me? Run it! He takes another swig of Jägermeister, his eyes gleaming with a mix of madness and determination. With all four teams fired up, the camera cuts to the arena where the crowd is buzzing in anticipation. The ring is surrounded by various members of the golf cart who are still drinking and causing a ruckus, cheering on their representatives, Busey and Sheik. Jim Ross, ever the professional, sets the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this match is about to explode. Four teams, one opportunity to challenge the tag team champions next week. This is what 1412 wrestling is all about. Elvira adds with a smirk, these teams better bring their A game because those belts are the most coveted prize in the tag division. And with the golf cart chugging Jägermeister, who knows what kind of chaos we're in for. Pauly Shore, leaning back in his chair, chuckles. Dude, this is going to be one crazy ride. Bussy and Sheik are already half gone on that Jaeger. Let's see if they can actually pull this off. The bell rings, and the match begins with Ace Ventura and Barbarian starting things off. Ace uses his agility to dodge Barbarian's power moves, frustrating the big man. But when Barbarian finally catches Ace, he delivers a devastating slam, sending a message to all the competitors. Barbarian tags in Warlord, and the two start dominating Ace with quick tags and punishing moves. Dan Marino tries to rally the crowd, but Bill and Ted interrupt the action by tagging themselves in, much to the displeasure of the powers of pain. Ted squares off with Warlord, trying to match him move for move, but Warlord's power is too much, and Ted finds himself on the receiving end of a brutal clothesline. The match continues with fast-paced action as each team tags in and out, looking for the right moment to seize control. Ace Ventura manages to hit a surprise Hurricane Rana on Barbarian, taking him down before tagging in Dan Marino, who cleans house with a series of powerful moves, taking down both Warlord and Barbarian. Just as Marino is gaining momentum, Busey and Sheik make their presence felt, with Busey stumbling into the ring, swinging wildly, and knocking down everyone in his path. Sheik follows up with a series of vicious suplexes, taking advantage of the chaos. Jim Ross, his voice filled with excitement, shouts, Busey and Sheik are on a rampage. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Elvira adds, they may be drunk, but they're dangerous. This could be their night. As the match reaches its climax, all four teams are in the ring, brawling with each other. The golf cart stable on the outside continues to cause distractions, with Alex Trebek throwing quiz cards into the ring and the Sentient Surge soda vending machine spraying soda at anyone who gets too close. In the chaos, Bill and Ted hit their double-team move on Ace Ventura, but before they can capitalize, Busey and Sheik storm the ring. Busey grabs Ted and delivers a wild spinning back fist, sending him crashing into the ropes. Sheik takes down Bill with a camel clutch, but before he can make him submit, Warlord and Barbarian break it up with a double clothesline. Just as it seems the powers of pain might secure the victory, Busey, in a moment of drunken brilliance, tosses Warlord out of the ring and quickly tags Sheik. Sheik, still reeling from the Jägermeister, stumbles into the ring but manages to lock in the camel clutch on Bill once more. This time, Bill has no choice but to tap out, giving Busey and Sheik the victory. The bell rings, and the crowd erupts in a mix of cheers and boos as Busey and Sheik celebrate their hard-fought win. The rest of the golf cart stable storms the ring, lifting Busey and Sheik onto their shoulders in a drunken celebration, spilling Jägermeister all over the place. Jim Ross, almost incredulous, exclaims, "Busey and Sheik have done it. They've won the right to challenge for the tag team championships next week. What a chaotic match." Elvira, shaking her head in amazement, adds, "If they can win like this while they're drunk, imagine what they could do if they were sober. This is going to be a wild ride to the championships." Pauly Shore, laughing, sums it up, "Dude, that was totally insane. Busey and Sheik are on fire and the golf cart is taking over." As Busey and Sheik continue their victory celebration, the camera cuts to the backstage area where Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, the current tag team champions, are watching on a monitor. They exchange a glance, clearly sizing up their next challengers, knowing they're in for a wild match next week. The segment ends with Busey and Sheik stumbling up the ramp, celebrating with the golf cart stable as they prepare to take on the champions next week, leaving the crowd buzzing with excitement for what's to come. The crowd inside the 14-1-12 wrestling arena is electric as Hulk Hogan's iconic theme music, Real American, blares through the speakers. Hogan strides down the ramp, ripping his shirt off and cupping his hand to his ear, soaking in the deafening cheers from the fans. The arena is filled with a mix of nostalgia and excitement as Hogan enters the ring, ready to face the menacing Soda Popinski. Jim Ross, with his signature enthusiasm, exclaims, "Business is about to pick up, folks. Hulk Hogan, the legend, is stepping into the ring against the fearsome Soda Popinski. And with Bert Sugar as the special referee, anything can happen." Elvira, ever the voice of intrigue, adds, "Hogan's got his hands full tonight. Soda Popinski is no pushover, and with the golf cart lurking around, you know things are going to get dirty." Pauly Shore, with a chuckle, quips, "Dude, Hogan better watch out for that golf cart crew. They're crazier than a bag of cats." As Hogan finishes his entrance, Soda Popinski's theme music hits and the towering Russian boxer makes his way to the ring, his fists clenched and ready for battle. The crowd's energy shifts with a mix of boos and jeers greeting Popinski as he climbs into the ring, his eyes locked on Hogan. Bert Sugar, the special referee, steps into the ring, puffing on his cigar as he adjusts his fedora. He signals for the bell to ring and the match is officially underway. The two competitors circle each other, the tension palpable. Hogan, ever the showman, goes for a test of strength, locking up with Popinski in the center of the ring. The crowd roars as the two titans struggle for control, but Popinski's raw power gives him the early advantage, forcing Hogan back into the corner. Jim Ross calls the action. "Popinski's got the power advantage here, folks. He's not giving Hogan an inch." Elvira chimes in. "Hogan's in trouble early, but don't count him out just yet. He's been in tough spots before." Popinski starts laying into Hogan with a series of heavy punches, each one landing with a sickening thud that echoes through the arena. Hogan staggers under the assault, but he fires back with a big boot to the face, stunning Popinski and buying himself some breathing room. Hogan begins to rally, feeding off the crowd's energy as he hits Popinski with a barrage of punches, followed by a thunderous body slam that shakes the ring. The crowd erupts as Hogan goes for his signature leg drop, but before he can land it, Bert Sugar steps in, stopping him in his tracks. Pauly Shore, confused, asks, "Whoa, what's going on here? Why is Bert Sugar stopping the match?" Sugar, with a smirk, waves his arms, signaling to the back. Suddenly, the rest of the golf cart stable appears on the stage, led by Gary Busey and Iron Sheik. They rush down to the ring, and it's clear that the fix is in. Jim Ross, furious, yells, "This was a setup all along. The golf cart is here, and they're looking to take out Hulk Hogan." Hogan finds himself outnumbered as the golf cart members storm the ring. Popinski, now fully recovered, takes advantage of the distraction, delivering a devastating uppercut that floors Hogan. The crowd boos loudly as the golf cart stable surrounds Hogan, with Bert Sugar watching on, his grin widening. Elvira adds, "This is just despicable. Hogan never stood a chance with these odds." With Hogan down, Gary Busey grabs a steel chair and slides it into the ring. Popinski picks up the chair, but before he can use it, Iron Sheik pushes him aside, demanding to be the one to finish Hogan. The crowd's boos grow louder as Sheik locks in the camel clutch, pulling back with all his might as Hogan writhes in pain. Jim Ross, his voice filled with disgust, exclaims, "The Iron Sheik's got the camel clutch locked in. He's trying to break Hogan's back right here in the middle of the ring." Bert Sugar casually counts Hogan out, signaling the end of the match. But the golf cart stable isn't finished. Sheik refuses to let go of the hold, continuing to wrench back on Hogan's neck and spine. The rest of the golf cart members taunt the crowd, celebrating as Hogan's body goes limp. Pauly Shore, trying to lighten the mood, says, "Man, this is rough. Hogan's getting straight up wrecked by these guys." Finally, Sheik releases the hold, standing over Hogan's prone body with a look of triumph. Bert Sugar raises Popinski's hand in victory, but it's clear that this was more than just a match. It was an ambush, a message to anyone who dares to challenge the golf cart's stable. As Hogan lies motionless in the ring, the golf cart stable poses over him, basking in the heat from the crowd. The segment ends with the image of Hogan, broken and beaten, as the golf cart celebrates their dominance, their control over 1412 wrestling growing stronger with each passing week. Jim Ross solemnly closes out the segment. "This is a dark day for Hulk Hogan and for 1412 wrestling. The golf cart has shown they'll stop at nothing to assert their dominance. And after tonight, who's going to stop them?" Elvira, shaking her head, adds, "It's going to take a miracle to bring these guys down. Hogan may be down, but you know he's not out just yet." The camera cuts to a wide shot of the arena, the fans still in shock from what they've witnessed as the show heads to commercial. The atmosphere in the 1412 wrestling arena is tense as the ring is prepared for a Brawl for All match, a brutal, no-holds-barred fight where the only way to win is by knockout. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation, knowing they're about to witness a hard-hitting showdown between two of the toughest competitors in 1412 wrestling. Jim Ross, ever the voice of reason, sets the stage. "Folks, we've got a Brawl for All match on our hands tonight. This is as real as it gets. No flashy moves, no fancy tricks, just two men throwing hands until one of them can't get up." Elvira adds, "This is going to be a slugfest, no doubt about it. Bart Gunn has a reputation for packing a serious punch, but Hitmonchan's no slouch in the boxing department either." Pauly Shore, always bringing his unique perspective, quips, "Dude, this is going to be gnarly. I hope these guys have their dental insurance paid up." As the commentary team hypes up the match, Bart Gunn's music hits and the crowd erupts into a mix of cheers and boos. Representing the golf cart, Bart Gunn walks down the aisle with a confident swagger, his eyes locked on the ring. He knows that this match is about more than just a victory. It's about solidifying the golf cart's dominance after their brutal ambush of Hulk Hogan earlier in the night. Daphne Blake, the ring announcer, introduces the competitors. The following contest is a Brawl for All match. Introducing first, representing the golf cart stable, Bart Gunn. Bart enters the ring, bouncing on his toes, ready to throw down. The arena's lights dim slightly as Hitmonchan's entrance theme plays, and the crowd roars in approval. The Pokemon boxer emerges, his fists already raised, shadowboxing as he makes his way to the ring. And his opponent, Daphne continues, from the Pokemon world, Hitmonchan! Hitmonchan climbs into the ring, staring down Bart Gunn with a look of intense focus. This is more than just a wrestling match for Hitmonchan. It's a test of his boxing skills, a chance to prove that he's the best pugilist in the world, no matter who stands across from him. The referee explains the rules: no pins, no submissions, just knockouts, and then signals for the bell. The match begins, and the two competitors waste no time, meeting in the center of the ring with a flurry of punches. Bart Gunn, known for his knockout power, swings heavy hooks at Hitmonchan, but the Pokemon boxer's speed allows him to slip most of the blows, countering with rapid jabs to Bart's midsection. Jim Ross calls the action, "Look at the speed of Hitmonchan. He's dodging and weaving like a true boxing champ." But Bart Gunn's power is something to watch out for. Elvira adds, Hitmonchan's got the technique, but if Bart lands one of those haymakers, it could be lights out. The match continues with both men trading blows in the center of the ring. Bart Gunn starts to find his rhythm, landing a series of heavy punches that stagger Hitmonchan. The Pokemon boxer fights back with a combination of body shots trying to wear Bart down, but the human fighter's resilience keeps him standing. Pauly Shore, excited by the action, yells, Whoa, these guys are going at it. This is like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but in real life. As the match progresses, the intensity ramps up. Bart Gunn lands a devastating uppercut that sends Hitmonchan reeling back into the ropes. Sensing victory, Bart charges forward, throwing wild punches with knockout intentions. But Hitmonchan, using his last reserves of energy, ducks under a right hook and delivers a blistering counterpunch combination that rocks Bart Gunn's head back. The crowd is on their feet as both competitors are visibly exhausted, but neither is willing to back down. Bart Gunn, fueled by the desire to win for the golf cart, pushes through the pain and lands a vicious left hook that catches Hitmonchan flush on the jaw. The Pokemon boxer stumbles, and Bart follows up with a brutal right hand that sends Hitmonchan crashing to the mat. Jim Ross, with a tone of concern, shouts, My God, what a punch! Bart Gunn just laid out Hitmonchan with that knockout shot. Elvira, watching closely, says, Hitmonchan's not moving. That could be it. The referee begins the 10 count as Hitmonchan struggles to regain his senses. The crowd counts along, but it's clear that Hitmonchan is too dazed to get back to his feet. The referee reaches 10 and the match is over. Bart Gunn wins by knockout. Daphne Blake makes the official announcement. Here is your winner, by knockout, Bart Gunn. Bart Gunn raises his fists in victory, a smug grin on his face as he looks down at the fallen Hitmonchan. The golf cart has added another victory to their record tonight, and Bart knows he's made a statement with this win. As Bart celebrates, the rest of the golf cart stable makes their way to the ring, led by Gary Busey and Iron Sheik. They surround Bart, congratulating him on his victory, while also taunting the unconscious Hitmonchan. Jim Ross, disgusted by the golf cart's behavior, comments, These guys just don't know when to quit. Bart Gunn won the match fair and square, but the golf cart can't resist rubbing it in. Elvira, with a sigh, adds, This stable is out of control. They've already taken out Hogan tonight, and now they're trying to humiliate Hitmonchan. Pauly Shore, with a smirk, jokes, Maybe they should take on that Pokemon with a handicap next time. This was a beatdown. The segment ends with the golf cart celebrating in the ring. Bart Gunn standing tall as Hitmonchan is tended to by medical staff. The message is clear. If you stand against the golf cart, you'd better be prepared to fight because they won't show any mercy. As the show heads to commercial, the image of Bart Gunn's victorious grin is the last thing the audience sees. Turns from commercial, the familiar sound of glass shattering echoes through the arena, and the crowd erupts into deafening cheers. Stone Cold Steve Austin strides down the ramp with a determined look on his face, his signature swagger on full display. The Texas Rattlesnake has business to take care of tonight, and he's not in the mood for any nonsense. Jim Ross, the voice of 1412 Wrestling, is in his element. By God, business is about to pick up, folks. Stone Cold Steve Austin is here, and you can bet he's got something to say before he takes on Pepsi Man. Stone Cold grabs a microphone and climbs into the ring, pacing back and forth as he waits for the crowd to settle down. Once the cheers die down, he raises the mic to his lips. If y'all think Stone Cold's gonna whoop Pepsi Man's ass tonight, give me a hell yeah. Austin growls, and the crowd responds in unison with a resounding, Hell yeah! Now, before I stomp mudhole in that can of soda, let me get a few things straight, Austin continues, his tone dripping with disdain. Majin Buu, you big pink son of a bitch, you think you're untouchable just because you've got that 14-12 championship? Well, let me tell you something, Buu. I'm coming for that title, and there ain't a damn thing you or your little egg-loving friends can do about it. The crowd roars in approval as Austin turns his attention to Bars and the Anti-Boiled Egg Brigade. And as for you, Bars, you can take your boiled eggs, your chocolate ice cream, and your frosted cookies and shove them where the sun don't shine. You and your brigade of boiled egg-loving jackasses want to mess with Stone Cold? Well, bring it on, because I'll stomp all of your asses one by one. Austin pauses, glaring at the stage. But tonight, I've got a date with that metallic piece of trash, Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man, you want to step in the ring with Stone Cold? Well, you're about to find out exactly what happens when you piss me off. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. With that, Austin throws down the microphone and prepares for his match. The lights in the arena dim, and Pepsi Man's theme music hits. The robotic soda mascot strides down the ramp, his shiny exterior reflecting the arena lights. As Pepsi Man enters the ring, the tension is palpable. Mr. Feeney, ever the voice of wisdom, remarks, Pepsi Man may look like a harmless soda mascot, but he's got the backing of the anti-boiled egg brigade, and that makes him dangerous. Elvira adds, this match is going to be anything but ordinary. With the brigade lurking in the shadows, Austin's got to watch his back. The referee signals for the bell, and the match is underway. Pepsi Man immediately charges at Austin, trying to overwhelm him with speed and unorthodox attacks. But Stone Cold is no stranger to bizarre opponents, and he meets Pepsi Man with a series of hard-hitting punches that stagger the mascot. Austin grabs Pepsi Man and throws him into the corner, laying in with a series of stomps to the midsection. The crowd is fully behind Austin as he continues to dominate, but just as it seems like he's got the match under control, the anti-boiled egg brigade storms the ring. Bars, Cliff O'Malley, Donkey Lips, and Doug Funny hit the ring, attacking Austin from all sides. The referee is powerless to stop the onslaught as the brigade unleashes a brutal beatdown on the Texas Rattlesnake. Jim Ross is beside himself. Damn it. The anti-boiled egg brigade is out here again, and they're doing everything they can to take down Stone Cold. This is a damn mugging. Elvira, frustrated by the interference, exclaims, they can't win this match fair and square, so they have to resort to this. It's disgusting. Pauly Shore, ever the jokester, quips, man, these guys really don't like their eggs sunny side up. Despite the odds, Austin refuses to stay down. He fights back with everything he's got, taking out Donkey Lips with a Luthes press and hammering away on Doug Funny with vicious right hands. The crowd is on their feet as Austin single-handedly fends off the brigade, but Bars manages to blindside him with a steel chair to the back. Pepsi Man, seeing his opportunity, goes for his finishing move, the Pepsi Plunge, but Austin counters, kicking Pepsi Man in the gut and hitting him with a thunderous stunner in the center of the ring. The crowd explodes as Austin covers Pepsi Man for the pin. The referee counts 1, 2, 3. Jim Ross shouts, Stone Cold wins! Stone Cold wins! Despite all the interference, Stone Cold Steve Austin has overcome the odds and taken out Pepsi Man. Elvira, impressed by Austin's resilience, adds, you can't keep Stone Cold down. No matter how many obstacles you throw at him, he always finds a way to come out on top. Pauly Shore, clearly enjoying the chaos, exclaims, dude, that was epic. Austin just crushed Pepsi Man like an empty can. Post-match, Austin isn't done. He grabs a couple of beers from ringside, cracks them open, and downs them in his usual celebratory style. But as the brigade starts to regroup, Austin wastes no time delivering stunners to Bars, Cliff O'Malley, and Doug Funny, leaving them all laid out in the ring. The crowd is going wild as Austin climbs the turnbuckle, raising his beers in victory. He then turns his attention to the camera and points directly at it, taunting Majin Buu. You're next, Buu. Stone Cold's coming for you, and when I get my hands on you, that 14-12 championship is mine. With the brigade decimated and Pepsi Man out cold in the ring, Austin continues his celebration, pouring beer over his fallen opponents before exiting the ring. The message is clear. Stone Cold Steve Austin isn't backing down from anyone, and he's ready to take on Majin Buu for the 14-12 championship. The segment ends with Austin standing tall on the stage, flipping off the anti-boiled egg brigade one last time as the show heads to commercial, leaving the crowd buzzing with excitement for what's to come. As the show returns from commercial break, the camera cuts backstage where Grover is standing by with the Minotaur and John 420, the latest incarnation of the unpredictable golf cart stable. The Minotaur snorts heavily, his eyes glowing with rage, while John 420, a joint hanging from his lips, flashes a cocky grin. Grover, ever the professional, asks, John 420, the Minotaur, tonight you face Vegeta and Bulma, as well as Spopovich and Akeem the African Dream. What's your strategy going into this chaotic three-way tag match? John 420 takes a long drag from his joint and blows the smoke into Grover's face, causing the Muppet to cough. Grover, my man, strategy? We don't need no stinking strategy. We're the golf cart, baby. We roll over anyone who gets in our way. Minotaur here, he's a beast. I'm the chillest dude in this place. Together, we're gonna burn it down and leave everyone in the dust. The Minotaur lets out a deafening roar, adding, "None can stand against our might. We will crush them all." The camera then shifts to Vegeta and Bulma, who are standing in another part of the backstage area. Vegeta, ever the proud Saiyan prince, is smirking confidently while Bulma adjusts some gadgets on her wrist. "Vegeta, Bulma," the interviewer begins, "tonight you face not one, but two formidable teams. How do you plan to handle the challenge?" Vegeta scoffs, his voice dripping with arrogance. "These fools don't know who they're messing with. I'm the Prince of all Saiyans. They're not even worth my time. But for you, Bulma," he glances at his wife with a rare soft look before turning back to the camera, "I'll make this quick. One final flash, and it's over." Bulma chimes in with a confident smile. "That's right, and if anyone tries to get too close, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. Tonight, we're walking out of here with our hands raised." Finally, the camera cuts to Spopovich and Akeem the African Dream, who are surrounded by members of the Anti-Boiled Egg Brigade, including Bars, who's ranting about his hatred for boiled eggs. Akeem is dancing his way through the promo, completely unfazed by the chaos around him. "We've got the power of the brigade behind us, brother," Akeem declares. "And with Spopovich's brute strength and my African dream, we're going to dominate this match and show the world why boiled eggs are the devil's food." Spopovich grunts in agreement, flexing his muscles as Bars continues his tirade in the background. As the camera returns to the ring, the three teams make their entrances, each one accompanied by their respective theme music. The Minotaur and John 420 enter first, with John riding a literal golf cart down the ramp, the Minotaur smashing through the smoke and pyrotechnics. The crowd boos loudly as they reach the ring. Next, Vegeta and Bulma make their entrance, with Vegeta powering up on the stage, surrounded by a blue aura. The crowd pops as the Saiyan Prince and his genius wife make their way to the ring, focused and determined. Finally, Spopovich and Akeem the African Dream come out, accompanied by the rest of the Anti-Boiled Egg Brigade, who are waving anti-boiled egg signs and throwing eggs at the crowd. The brigade's antics draw a mixed reaction from the audience as they head to the ring. Jim Ross, ever the voice of reason, remarks, "This is going to be one hell of a match, folks. You've got the sheer power of the Minotaur, the cunning of John 420, the pride of Vegeta and Bulma, and the chaotic energy of the Anti-Boiled Egg Brigade. Anything can happen." Elvira adds, "I'm not sure who's crazier, John 420 and his golf cart crew, or the egg-hating brigade. Either way, this match is going to be wild." Pauly Shore, never missing an opportunity to chime in, quips, "Yo, this is like a totally epic mashup of craziness, bro. Can you imagine what's going to go down when these guys collide? It's going to be off the chain." The bell rings, and the match kicks off with Vegeta and John 420 starting things off in the ring. Vegeta immediately takes control, using his superior speed and strength to overpower John with a series of punches and kicks that send him reeling into the corner. John tries to fight back with some high-flying moves, but Vegeta catches him mid-air and slams him to the mat with a brutal spinebuster. The Minotaur charges into the ring, but Vegeta sidesteps him, sending the beast crashing into the ropes. Bulma, from the apron, tosses a small device to Vegeta, who attaches it to the Minotaur's back. The device sparks, sending a jolt of electricity through the Minotaur, momentarily stunning him. Jim Ross shouts, "Good God Almighty, Bulma's using some kind of high-tech gadget on the Minotaur. That's what makes her and Vegeta such a dangerous duo." Elvira, impressed by Bulma's ingenuity, adds, "She's not just a genius, she's also not afraid to get her hands dirty." I love it. Meanwhile, Spopovich tags himself in and goes after Vegeta with a series of powerhouse moves, including a devastating clothesline that nearly decapitates the Saiyan Prince. Spopovich and Akeem double-team Vegeta, beating him down in their corner as the Anti-Boiled Egg Brigade cheers them on. Bulma, seeing her husband in trouble, tries to intervene, but Akeem grabs her by the arm and swings her around, mocking her before tossing her back to her corner. This enrages Vegeta, who powers up and unleashes a massive burst of energy, knocking Spopovich and Akeem off their feet. Vegeta crawls to his corner and tags in Bulma, who immediately goes after Akeem with a series of quick jabs and a spinning kick that sends him tumbling out of the ring. The Minotaur, recovered from the earlier shock, charges at Bulma, but she ducks and trips him up, sending him crashing to the mat. Just as it seems like Vegeta and Bulma have the upper hand, John 420 sneaks back into the ring with a steel chair, ready to take out Bulma. But before he can strike, Vegeta intercepts him with a flying knee to the face, sending John flying out of the ring. The match descends into chaos as all 6 competitors brawl inside and outside the ring. The Minotaur and Spopovich team up on Vegeta, while Bulma battles Akeem and John 420 on the outside. The anti-boiled egg brigade tries to get involved, but Vegeta, seeing them coming, launches a massive final flash that sends them scattering in all directions. In the end, it comes down to Vegeta and John 420 in the ring. John, dazed and battered, tries to mount a comeback, but Vegeta is too strong. He powers up once again, his aura glowing bright blue, and delivers a bone-crushing final flash that sends John crashing to the mat. Vegeta covers him for the 3 count, securing the victory for his team. Jim Ross yells, "Vegeta and Bulma win. What a match!" Vegeta's final flash just obliterated John 420. Elvira adds, "The Saiyan Prince and his wife showed why they're one of the most dangerous duos in 1412 wrestling. No one messes with Vegeta." Pauly Shore, ever the comedian, quips, "Dude, that was like Super Saiyan awesome. Vegeta just lit up the whole ring." As Vegeta and Bulma celebrate their victory, the anti-boiled egg brigade retreats up the ramp, licking their wounds. The golf cart, meanwhile, is left to pick up the pieces as John 420 and the Minotaur stagger back to their feet. The segment ends with Vegeta and Bulma standing tall in the ring, victorious and defiant as the crowd cheers them on. The camera cuts to a quick shot of Majin Buu watching from backstage, a sinister grin on his face as he considers the threat that Vegeta and Bulma pose to his reign as 1412 champion. The show then heads to commercial, leaving the audience eager for what's to come next. As the show returns from commercial break, the atmosphere in the 1412 wrestling arena is electric. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation as the lights dim and a low, ominous chant begins to echo throughout the arena. The ancient Sumerians, their faces hidden beneath heavy hoods, emerge from the entrance ramp, each wielding a gleaming chainsaw that roars to life as they approach the ring. The eerie sound of the chainsaws fills the arena, sending a chill down the spines of the audience. Jim Ross, his voice filled with concern, comments, "Good God Almighty, these Sumerians look like they've come straight from the depths of hell, and those chainsaws, this could get ugly real fast." Elvira adds, "The TMNT and Joey Tribbiani are in for the fight of their lives tonight. Those chainsaws aren't just for show. They're here to do some serious damage." Pauly Shore, always ready with a quip, chimes in, "Yo, those dudes are like straight out of a horror movie, bro. This is going to be gnarly." The Sumerians enter the ring, their chainsaws revving as they await the arrival of their opponents. The lights suddenly change to a vibrant green as the iconic theme song of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles blasts through the speakers. Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Joey Tribbiani burst through the curtain, each turtle wielding their signature weapons, with Joey looking slightly out of place but determined nonetheless. The TMNT strike their classic poses, and Joey, despite being nervous, does his best to match their energy, throwing in a few awkward punches and kicks to pump himself up. A crowd roars in approval, fully behind the champions. Mr. Feeney's voice rings out with pride. These boys have faced tough opponents before, but tonight they'll need to be at their best to fend off the Sumerians and their infernal chainsaws. The bell rings and the match immediately descends into chaos. The Sumerians waste no time, swinging their chainsaws wildly at the turtles and Joey. Raphael narrowly avoids a vicious swipe, countering with a spin kick that sends one of the Sumerians staggering. Michelangelo ducks under a chainsaw, then delivers a nunchaku strike to another Sumerian's midsection, causing him to drop his weapon. Joey, showing surprising resilience, dodges a chainsaw and tackles a Sumerian to the ground, pummeling him with punches as the crowd cheers him on. "How you doing?" he shouts confidently, getting a pop from the audience. Donatello, Always the strategist, quickly realizes that the chainsaws are the biggest threat. He calls out to his brothers, "We need to disarm them. Let's take out those chainsaws first." The turtles coordinate their attacks, focusing on disarming the Sumerians. Raphael and Michelangelo double team one of the Sumerians, kicking the chainsaw out of his hands before tossing him into the ropes. Donatello uses his bow staff to knock another chainsaw out of a Sumerian's grip, then follows up with a swift strike to his opponent's leg, sending him crashing to the mat. Jim Ross, in awe of the turtles' teamwork, exclaims, "What a strategy by the TMNT! They're neutralizing the Sumerians' biggest weapons and taking control of this match." Elvira adds, "That's why these boys are the champions. They know how to adapt and overcome, even when the odds are against them." Meanwhile, Joey finds himself face to face with the leader of the Sumerians, who is still wielding his chainsaw menacingly. The leader swings the chainsaw at Joey, but he ducks just in time, the blade whizzing past his head. Joey, fueled by adrenaline and the desire to prove himself, tackles the leader to the ground, knocking the chainsaw out of his hands. Raphael, seeing the opportunity, calls out to his brothers, "Let's finish this! Cowabunga, dudes!" The TMNT converge on the leader of the Sumerians, each turtle delivering a series of powerful strikes that leave him dazed and vulnerable. Joey, finding his moment, climbs to the top rope and shouts, "This one's for all the pizza in New York," before leaping off and delivering a flying elbow drop onto the leader. The leader of the Sumerians is down, and Joey quickly goes for the cover as the turtles form a protective barrier around him, fending off the remaining Sumerians. The referee drops to the mat and counts 1, 2, 3. The bell rings and the crowd erupts as the TMNT and Joey Tribbiani are declared the winners, retaining their stable championships. The Sumerians, defeated and disarmed, retreat up the ramp, their chainsaws left scattered around the ring. Jim Ross, his voice filled with excitement, declares, "What a victory for the TMNT and Joey Tribbiani. They've overcome the odds and defeated the golf cart's latest threat." Elvira adds, "I've got to hand it to Joey. He's come a long way from being just another sitcom star. Tonight, he proved that he belongs with the Turtles." Pauly Shore, ever the hype man, shouts, "Yo, that was epic, dudes. Joey totally nailed it. Cowabunga, baby." The TMNT and Joey celebrate in the ring, raising their titles high as the crowd chants their names. The camera cuts to the backstage area where the rest of the golf cart stable watches on a monitor, their expressions a mix of frustration and anger. John 420, still recovering from his earlier match, mutters, "This ain't over, dudes. Not by a long shot." The segment ends with the TMNT and Joey basking in their victory, the stable championships securely in their hands as the show heads to its final commercial break. As the final commercial break concludes, the 1412 wrestling arena is crackling with anticipation. The lights dim, and the sound of electricity surging fills the air as Electabuzz's entrance music hits. The electric Pokemon steps out onto the stage, sparks of electricity dancing around him as the crowd erupts in cheers. Magmar follows closely behind, the fire Pokemon surrounded by an aura of intense heat, his flames flickering ominously. Jim Ross exclaims, "Folks, we're about to witness a clash of elements as Electabuzz and Magmar take on the brute force of Bebop and Rocksteady. This is going to be one for the ages." Elvira adds, "We've got fire, we've got electricity, and we've got two of the most notorious henchmen in all of villainy. This match is going to be explosive." As Electabuzz and Magmar enter the ring, the atmosphere shifts and the lights turn a menacing shade of red. The familiar grunts and snorts of Bebop and Rocksteady fill the arena as their entrance music hits. The massive mutants stomp their way down to the ring, flexing their muscles and snarling at the crowd. Bebop, with his purple mohawk and signature shades, sneers at the fans, while Rocksteady, the hulking rhinoceros, cracks his knuckles menacingly. Mr. Feeney, always composed, notes, "Bebop and Rocksteady may have the power advantage, but Electabuzz and Magmar bring an unpredictable element to this match. It's going to be a battle of brute strength versus elemental might." The bell rings, and the match kicks off with Electabuzz and Bebop squaring off. Bebop charges at Electabuzz, swinging wildly, but Electabuzz ducks under his attack, moving with the speed of lightning. He quickly counters with a series of electrifying jabs, each punch sending sparks flying from Bebop's body. Jim Ross shouts, "Electabuzz is using his speed to his advantage. Bebop can't keep up with those quick strikes. Bebop stumbles back, momentarily stunned, but he quickly recovers, launching himself at Electabuzz with a powerful shoulder tackle. The force of the hit sends Electabuzz crashing to the mat. Bebop, capitalizing on his advantage, stomps on Electabuzz, trying to wear him down. Elvira comments, Bebop's not giving Electabuzz any room to breathe. He's using his brute strength to keep the electric Pokemon grounded. Electabuzz struggles to get back to his feet as Bebop tags in Rocksteady. The massive rhinoceros charges into the ring, immediately going after Electabuzz with a devastating clothesline. Electabuzz is sent spinning through the air before crashing hard onto the mat. Pauly Shore, feeling the intensity, shouts, "Whoa, dude!" Rocksteady just leveled Electabuzz with that clothesline. That's gotta hurt! Rocksteady drags Electabuzz to his feet, preparing to deliver more punishment. But Electabuzz, fueled by the energy coursing through him, suddenly electrifies his body. The surge of electricity shocks Rocksteady, forcing him to release his grip. Electabuzz quickly capitalizes, hitting Rocksteady with a powerful thunder punch that sends the Rhino staggering backward. Jim Ross, in awe of the display, exclaims, "What a thunder punch by Electabuzz! He's not out of this match yet." Electabuzz, now energized, leaps across the Ruther ring and tags in Magmar. The fire Pokemon enters the ring with flames roaring around him. He immediately targets Rocksteady, launching a barrage of fireballs that force the massive mutant to retreat. The intense heat from the flames begins to wear Rocksteady down as he tries to shield himself from the onslaught. Elvira adds, "Magmar's bringing the heat. Rocksteady is in trouble here." Rocksteady, desperate to turn the tide, charges at Magmar with a headbutt, but Magmar sidesteps the attack, causing Rocksteady to crash into the turnbuckle. Magmar then follows up with a flamethrower, engulfing Rocksteady in flames. The rhinoceros roars in pain, frantically trying to extinguish the flames as he stumbles back into his corner. Bebop, seeing his partner in trouble, tags himself in and rushes at Magmar, but the fire Pokemon is ready. Magmar counters with a fire punch, his flaming fist connecting with Bebop's jaw and sending him reeling. Mr. Feeney, impressed by the teamwork, remarks, "Magmar and Electabuzz are working together like a well-oiled machine. They're using their elemental abilities to systematically dismantle Bebop and Rocksteady." Magmar tags Electabuzz back into the match, and the electric Pokemon wastes no time charging up his most powerful Thunder Punch yet. As Bebop stumbles toward him, Electabuzz unleashes the electrifying attack, the impact sending Bebop crashing to the mat, his body convulsing from the shock. Jim Ross, with excitement in his voice, shouts, "Thunder Punch! Thunder Punch! Bebop is down!" Electabuzz quickly goes for the cover as the referee drops to the mat. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings, and Electabuzz and Magmar are declared the winners of the match. Elvira, her voice filled with excitement, exclaims, "What a victory for Electabuzz and Magmar! They've just electrified this arena." Pauly Shore, still riding the energy of the match, adds, "Dude, that was lit. They totally fried Bebop and Rocksteady." Electabuzz and Magmar celebrate in the ring, their victory a testament to the power of teamwork and the might of their elemental abilities. Bebop and Rocksteady, still reeling from the defeat, slowly roll out of the ring, glaring at their opponents as they retreat up the ramp. Mr. Feeney, as composed as ever, concludes, "Electabuzz and Magmar have proven tonight that brains and elements can overcome brawn. They've secured a major victory here in 1412 wrestling." Show heads into a brief recap before the final commercial break, leaving the crowd eager for what's to come next in this action-packed episode. The anticipation in the arena builds as the entrance music for Chandler Bing hits and the former Friends star struts down to the ring with his usual sarcastic confidence. Dressed in his wrestling gear and a smirk, Chandler is accompanied by none other than Shredder, the ruthless leader of the Foot Clan, who stalks behind him, radiating malevolence. Shredder's menacing presence adds a serious edge to Chandler's otherwise lighthearted demeanor. Jim Ross, always the voice of reason, comments, "Chandler Bing may be known for his humor, but tonight he's got the dangerous Shredder in his corner. This match could get ugly real quick." Elvira, intrigued by the odd pairing, adds, "Chandler might need more than his wit to get past Gossamer tonight, especially with Shredder's influence looming over him." As Chandler and Shredder enter the ring, the lights in the arena dim, and the eerie, ominous music of Gossamer begins to play. The hulking, red-furred monster lumbers down the ramp, his massive, menacing form casting long shadows across the ring. The crowd's reaction is a mix of awe and fear as Gossamer steps into the ring, his eyes fixed on Chandler with a look of predatory intent. Pauly Shore, always ready with a quip, says, "Whoa, dude. Gossamer is like one big, red furry nightmare. Chandler better hope he's got more than just sarcasm to survive this." The bell rings and the match begins. Chandler, trying to avoid direct confrontation, circles the ring, using his speed and agility to stay out of Gossamer's reach. He throws a few quick jabs, but they barely faze the massive creature. Chandler's strategy is clear: hit and run and hope to wear Gossamer down. Jim Ross notes, "Chandler's trying to use his speed to outmaneuver Gossamer, but I'm not sure how long he can keep this up. Gossamer's just too powerful." Gossamer, growing tired of Chandler's tactics, suddenly lunges forward with surprising speed, catching Chandler off guard. With one massive swipe, he sends Chandler crashing to the mat. The crowd gasps as Gossamer looms over Chandler, who is now clearly out of his depth. Shredder, seeing his protege in trouble, hops up onto the ring apron and distracts the referee. While the official's back is turned, Shredder tosses a pair of brass knuckles into the ring, signaling Chandler to use them. Chandler, though dazed, quickly grabs the knuckles and slips them on, delivering a desperate punch to Gossamer's midsection. Elvira, with a hint of concern, remarks, "Chandler's going to need more than brass knuckles to take down a monster like Gossamer. This could backfire on him." Sure enough, the punch has little effect on the monstrous Gossamer, who merely tilts his head and growls in response. Chandler's face pales as he realizes the futility of his attack. Gossamer grabs Chandler by the throat with one massive hand, effortlessly lifting him off the ground. Pauly Shore exclaims, "Uh-oh, looks like Gossamer's about to squish Chandler like a bug." With a roar, Gossamer slams Chandler into the mat with a devastating chokeslam that shakes the entire ring. Chandler's body bounces off the canvas and he lays sprawled out, barely conscious. Gossamer, not finished yet, drags Chandler to his feet and hoists him high above his head in a military press, showcasing his incredible strength. Jim Ross, his voice filled with concern, yells, "Gossamer's got Chandler up. This could be the end for him." Shredder, sensing the impending defeat, rushes into the ring to interfere, but Gossamer spots him and hurls Chandler at Shredder, knocking both of them to the ground. The crowd erupts in cheers as Gossamer raises his arms, feeding off the energy of the fans. Gossamer grabs Chandler one last time, lifting him up for a massive power slam. With a thunderous impact, he drives Chandler into the mat and the referee drops down for the count. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings and Gossamer is declared the winner. Elvira, clearly impressed, says, "Gossamer's just too powerful. Chandler never stood a chance, even with Shredder's help." As Gossamer stands tall in the ring, the defeated Chandler and Shredder roll out, nursing their wounds and retreating up the ramp. Gossamer lets out a victorious roar, the crowd cheering wildly in response. Jim Ross concludes, "Gossamer's dominance is undeniable. He just took out Chandler, Bing, and Shredder like they were nothing. Who's going to be brave enough to face this monster next?" The camera cuts to Gossamer in the ring, standing victorious, as the scene fades out to a commercial break, leaving the audience to ponder the unstoppable force that is Gossamer. The energy in the 1412 wrestling arena reaches a fever pitch as the lights dim and the ominous sounds of Nuclear Spawn's entrance music fill the air. The monstrous and twisted figure of Nuclear Spawn appears on the stage, his eyes glowing with malevolent intent. As he makes his way to the ring, the commentary team speculates on his destructive potential and how it might affect the outcome of this high-stakes championship match. Jim Ross kicks off the commentary. "Folks, we've got a main event like no other tonight. Nuclear Spawn is as dangerous as they come, and he's looking to take that 14-12 championship from Majin Buu. But let's not forget, Scott Steiner's in this match too, and you know he's always a wild card." Elvira adds with a hint of excitement, "These three powerhouses in one ring. This is going to be a war, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top." As Nuclear Spawn stands menacingly in the ring, the familiar wail of Scott Steiner's siren entrance theme blasts through the speakers. Steiner storms down the ramp, his veins bulging with intensity, accompanied by his rabid tigers who are held back by chains. He's a force of nature, and the crowd can feel the tension in the air as he enters the ring, glaring at Nuclear Spawn. Pauly Shore, always the Joker, chimes in, "Dude, Scott Steiner looks like he's ready to tear this whole place apart. And with those tigers, I mean, who brings tigers to a wrestling match?" Finally, the arena goes pitch black, and the unmistakable sound of Majin Buu's theme echoes throughout. The lights return, revealing Majin Buu in the center of the ring, having teleported in with his signature pink aura. The 1412 championship belt is securely fastened around his waist, and he's grinning wickedly, clearly confident in his ability to retain the title. Mr. Feeney, ever the voice of wisdom, remarks, "Majin Buu has been an unstoppable champion so far, but tonight he faces perhaps his greatest challenge yet. Nuclear Spawn and Scott Steiner are no ordinary opponents." The bell rings, and the match begins with a flurry of action. Nuclear Spawn immediately charges at Steiner, who meets him head-on with a powerful clothesline that barely staggers the monstrosity. Buu watches with a sly grin as his two opponents clash, each trying to establish dominance early on. Majin Buu finally joins the fray, launching himself at Steiner with a spinning back kick that sends the massive wrestler reeling into the ropes. Buu follows up with a barrage of rapid punches, showing off his incredible speed and strength. Nuclear Spawn, not to be outdone, grabs Buu from behind and hurls him across the ring with a monstrous suplex, demonstrating his raw power. Jim Ross narrates the action. "Look at the strength of Nuclear Spawn. He just tossed Majin Buu like a rag doll, but Steiner's not backing down either." Steiner, recovering quickly, charges at Nuclear Spawn, locking him in a brutal belly-to-belly suplex. The ring shakes with the impact, but Nuclear Spawn quickly rises to his feet, seemingly unfazed. Buu, seeing an opportunity, springs into action, launching himself off the ropes and delivering a high-flying clothesline that finally takes Nuclear Spawn off his feet. Elvira adds with excitement, "This is what a championship match is all about. These guys are pulling out all the stops." The match continues with each competitor having their moments of dominance. Steiner's technical prowess and brute strength are on full display as he locks Nuclear Spawn in a Steiner recliner, but before Nuclear Spawn can tap out, Buu breaks the hold with a crushing boot to Steiner's head. The action is fast and furious, with near falls and high-impact moves keeping the crowd on the edge of their seats. In a pivotal moment, Nuclear Spawn hoists Steiner up for a devastating powerbomb, but Buu intercepts with a Buu ball, knocking both men down. The crowd roars as Buu goes for the cover on Steiner, but Nuclear Spawn breaks it up at the last second, tossing Buu aside like a toy. Pauly Shore, barely containing his excitement, shouts, "This is insane! I can't believe what I'm seeing!" As the match reaches its climax, Steiner manages to hit Nuclear Spawn with a Steiner screwdriver, but before he can capitalize, Buu blindsides him with a powerful shoulder tackle. Sensing victory, Buu quickly ascends to the top rope and launches himself at Nuclear Spawn with his signature Buu bomb, driving Nuclear Spawn into the mat with tremendous force. Jim Ross, his voice filled with urgency, exclaims, "Buu with the Buu bomb. This could be it." Buu covers Nuclear Spawn and the referee counts 1, 2, 3. The bell rings and Majin Buu is declared the winner, retaining his 1412 championship. Elvira, impressed by the outcome, adds, "Majin Buu retains. What a match. But I have a feeling this isn't the last we've seen of Scott Steiner and Nuclear Spawn." As Buu celebrates his victory, the usually composed Steiner snaps, flying into a rage. He begins attacking the referees, hurling them out of the ring, and even throwing a few punches at the ringside staff. The Tigers, sensing their master's fury, growl and lunge at the ropes, adding to the chaos. Mr. Feeney, with a concerned tone, says, "Steiner's lost it. Someone needs to get control of this situation before it gets out of hand." Security rushes to the ring to restrain Steiner and his Tigers, but the chaos continues as Buu smugly raises his championship belt, basking in the boos from the crowd. Steiner is eventually pulled away by security, but not before promising vengeance, his voice echoing through the arena. Jim Ross closes the segment. Majin Buu has retained his championship, but Scott Steiner and Nuclear Spawn will not let this loss slide. This rivalry is far from over, folks. As the main event concludes, the camera pans to the commentary team, visibly shaken and trying to catch their breath after the chaotic triple threat match for the 14-12 championship. Mr. Feeney, ever the voice of reason, attempts to recap the night's events, but the chaos is far from over. Folks, what a night it's been. Jim Ross begins, his voice filled with awe. We've seen everything from brutal matches to shocking betrayals, and our champions have proven why they hold the gold. Elvira chimes in. And with everything that's happened tonight, you can bet the fallout will be just as explosive next week. But right now, let's take a look back at who's still holding the titles here in 14-12 wrestling. As Mr. Feeney starts listing the current champions, the familiar chaotic sound of the Itchy and Scratchy Show theme music blares through the arena's speakers. The audience's anticipation turns to confusion and then to excitement as the cartoonish duo, Itchy and Scratchy, storm down the ramp wielding oversized mallets and chainsaws. Pauly Shore, barely holding it together, exclaims, "Whoa, dudes, what the hell is happening now?" Before anyone can react, Itchy and Scratchy leap onto the commentary table, causing papers and equipment to fly everywhere. The two start to chase each other around, but their antics quickly turn violent as they turn their attention to Pauly Shore. With manic glee, they begin attacking him, each blow comically exaggerated, yet somehow still terrifying. Shore tries to fend them off, but he's no match for the relentless onslaught. Mr. Feeney tries to intervene, shouting, "This is madness! Somebody stop them!" Suddenly, the sound of shattering glass reverberates throughout the arena, and the crowd erupts as Stone Cold Steve Austin's entrance music hits. Austin appears on stage, driving his iconic beer truck straight down the ramp. The audience roars in approval as the truck crashes into the ring, shaking the entire arena. "It's Stone Cold, Stone Cold!" Jim Ross shouts, his voice filled with excitement. "He's here, and he's got something to say." Austin leaps out of the truck, microphone in hand, and marches to the center of the ring. "Majin Buu, get your fat ass out here right now. I want my title shot, and I want it tonight, you son of a bitch." The crowd is at a fever pitch, chanting Austin's name as he paces around the ring, waiting for Majin Buu to answer his challenge. But before Buu can respond, the arena lights flicker and an eerie silence falls over the crowd. Out of nowhere, Zombie Mike Tyson, looking more menacing than ever, crawls out from underneath the ring. "What the hell is this?" Pauly Shore yells, trying to regain his composure after the attack from Itchy and Scratchy. Zombie Mike Tyson enters the ring with a crazed look in his eyes, and without a moment's hesitation, he attacks Austin, throwing a series of bone-crushing punches. Austin tries to fight back, but Tyson's inhuman strength and relentless assault prove too much. With each punch, Austin stumbles, struggling to stay on his feet. Jim Ross, his voice filled with horror, exclaims, "My God, Tyson is pummeling Austin. Somebody get out here and stop this." The commentary team's pleas go unanswered as Tyson continues his vicious attack, driving Austin into the corner and landing punch after punch, his undead eyes fixed on his prey. The crowd watches in stunned silence as Austin, one of the toughest competitors in 14-12 wrestling, is reduced to a bloodied and battered shell by the relentless blows of Zombie Mike Tyson. Just as it seems like Austin won't be able to withstand another hit, the screen fades to black, leaving the audience with a cliffhanger and the haunting image of Zombie Mike Tyson standing over a broken Stone Cold Steve Austin. The commentary team's voices echo in the darkness, trying to make sense of what just transpired. What does this mean for the 14-12 championship? What's going to happen to Stone Cold Steve Austin? We'll have to find out next week. Jim Ross declares, his voice trembling with a mix of excitement and fear. The final shot before the credits roll is a recap of the current champions, with each title holder's face flashing on the screen, reminding the audience of the stakes and the chaos that reigns in the world of 14-12 wrestling. 14-12 champion, tag team champions, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, laser gun surfing battle champion, Shredder, competitive eating champion, Heifer Wolf, stable champions, Ninja Turtles and Joey Tribbiani, Divas champion, Catherine Isabel, sword fighting champion, Tyrannosatan. With the champions established, the screen fades to the 14-12 wrestling logo as the show goes off the air, leaving the audience eagerly anticipating what will happen next in this unpredictable and wild world.